Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Sprout. So, since last episode, I have been very busy on a couple different little things. First up, I moved our Gaia Guardian setup. I haven't actually spawned any Gaias here, but I did move it over to this section of the base. So, we'll probably be working over here a little bit today. So, basically making the Gaia a bit easier on us and pretty much simplifying things a lot. Also, as far as mana goes, we've been producing a lot of mana. Now, granted, I will say that I left this running while I took a nap earlier today. But you can see we have over... Well, most of these pools are over half full. These aren't, because if you recall, we set these up a little bit later than the others. But anyway, a lot of mana generation, which is awesome. Happy to see that. And then, let's go over to the subway real quick. I've spent a lot of time working in the subway right down here. And we're going to be working down here probably next episode. I was trying to get all sorted by this episode, but I mean, even aside from decorative work, we've still got a lot of work to do on this. But you can see right now there's 3 different track sections. There will eventually be 3 track sections, maybe 4. I don't know. I'm thinking between 4 or 5, because I'm thinking about having one that moves materials, and then have 2 high-speed tracks. One that moves carts back and forth to keep them stocked, and I don't know. It's going to be like 4 or 5 different tracks, but I haven't actually set up the, where you come out in the sand town yet. So, there's a lot, I mean, it's a massively long track that runs from one end to the other. So, yeah, I haven't actually brought it out into the sand town just yet, so... And then over here in the Sphinx area, I did set up this section. Sometimes they toss their stuff out still. But I do have all the mechanical users turned off because they just cause a ton of crashes. It's back to that mechanical user crash. So, I don't know. I'm going to see if maybe I was to move it outside of the mine colonies area. And had the mechanical users open the balls of fire there and then send the materials back through, if maybe that would work. Because we're, right here, we're really close to the mine colony city limits. It's like right behind this building, pretty much. Like right in this section over here is outside of mine colony's limits. So I'm hoping I'm going to try that and see if maybe having them opened elsewhere would kind of fix that issue or not. And then over here, let's see, he started working on the actual town center. He's finished clearing everything out, but we have to get birch wood before he can do that. So I would like to try to get that automated today. There's a few things that I would like to try to get to today. And then we now have a banker and teller. And since I used the custom NPC wand. It's this right here, NPC wand. It's a creative mode only item, but I went ahead and used it to get us a teller and banker. And since I was doing that, I figured, well... I'll go ahead and make some custom NPCs instead of just having the standard banker and NPC. So we have Grimoire of Gaia mobs. We have a Selkie and a Cyclops. And you can see the teller. I can't remember if it had wooden coins, stone coins, if we even used those. But I went ahead and threw them in here just to do it. So we've got all the different currencies that we can trade over. And then over in the banker, I did make a little bit of money because we're going to use that today. And I have that stored in here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab like 16 gold coins. Because we have enough mana now to get 2 more Terra Steel bags. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get the Terra Steel armor that we're after, but we're going to give it a shot and see if maybe we can get that. Because I would like to do a little bit of work with armor today. I'd like to work with the Gaia today, and maybe the Gaia Mk.II. I was originally planning on doing Railcraft, but I haven't got it quite done. I did spend a lot of time working on it, but also just a heads up, if you go to use the NPC wand, I ran into an issue that took a little while to resolve using that. When you're going through the skins, if you want to set like a custom skin, there is a mine colony skin. And I was just going through looking at them all, and I clicked on that mine colony skin, and it caused a crash, and it took a while to fix it because it kept crashing MC Edit when I tried to remove the NPC. Finally, it ended up working, and the NPC got removed, and then I went through like 3 crashes, restarting the pack, but finally on like the 4th restart it finally came up. So it took quite a while to resolve that issue. I don't know what's wrong with that skin, but if you see a mine colony skin on the list of skins, if you're using the NPC wand, under the entities section, when you're designing the NPC, I would advise against clicking on the mine colony skin. So just a heads up on that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get what we're gonna. Let's go ahead and start what we're gonna do today. And first up, I would like to get our Terra Steel that we need. So we're gonna need 12 pieces of Terra Steel to get 2 more Terra Steel bags. So let's get 12 pieces of iron. Diamonds, we are up to 3 blocks and 5. So 32 diamonds at the moment. And that is all from the cat factory, actually. But like I said, I had to turn it off. Basically what I'm going to do is probably let it build up and then toggle it on. And then if I'm going to try to move the actual mechanical users outside of city limits, and we'll see. Oh, and one of the big things, one of the first things I worked on since last episode was I got all of our corporeal sparks put in. It was mainly a process of grinding up ender pearls and grinding up ender air bottles. So, but we're at the point now where that's not too big of an issue. And then ender pearls, let's get 12 of these. But yeah, with having all 4 of those cat factory sections done, like we're getting diamonds at a fairly good rate, like for use. I'm pleasantly pleased with it. Alright, so 12 pieces of Terra Steel, let's do this. And I did spend a little bit of time lighting stuff up too, so I mean, the slimes are spawning at a very good rate. Yeah, see, we still almost have a 1/4 of a mana pool on each of these. Like, we're good on mana. It's coming in so quickly now that it's not really a concern at all. And I did break down some of the doors in the town, so food's getting delivered again, and some supplies are getting delivered. We still have to get tools and stuff automated, but that's something that we'll get to once we get our blood magic stuff, you know, in place. Alright, but let's get ourselves some Terra Steel armor. So, 2 bags. Fingers crossed, it would be great if we got chest and boots. So first up, we got boots. Awesome. And then second up, we got legs. Oh man. I was really hoping for a chest piece, but that's okay. That's alright. Alright, so let's pop up here. Let's get this enchanted real quick. See what we can get put on this. Alright, so first up I see magic resistance 3 on this one. No. Alright, just got protection 4 and magic resistance 3. We're going to take that, and then I can add the rest of the stuff. That's not a problem. But for the time being, protection 4, magic resistance 3, I'm happy with that. Okay, so let's head on down. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to get into another method that we're going to be using for really buffing up, throw that stuff into there, for really buffing up this armor. Because I would like to take on the Gaia Guardian Mk.II today. I would like to get a Terra Steel chest piece, but honestly I don't have the coins for it, and that's a lot of dragon grinding. It is a ton of dragon grinding to get the stuff that we need for that. So what we're going to be going for is we are going to be going for the armor imbuement table from Ars Magica 2. This thing is actually super cheap, 5 obsidian and an enchantment table, some carpet, and crafting altar, which is just stone and ventium. So let me go get some obsidian. I'm actually not for sure that I have. I'll tell you what, I've got this stone of recall, and now that we have all that stuff plugged up, I can actually use it. So I'm gonna need, let's say 8 obsidian maybe. Out of 4, 2. See, it doubles everything. It's weird. Okay, so I've only got 2 obsidian, so I'm gonna have to go get just a little bit of obsidian, which is actually really, really simple. Right down here we have obsidian, easily accessible. So we'll just go ahead and grab a bit of this stuff. And then let's take a look. We're also going to need carpet, which actually I don't have carpet in the system, I know that. But I think I have some down here. Actually, it might be right over here. Yes. Okay. We'll get a bit of that. And then I'm also going to want 2 diamonds and a book. And actually one thing that I want to get, I think I've lost my portable crafter. I had it, and now I can't find it. And I don't know what I did with it. But that's fine. I would like to get an assembly halo. That is 1 crafting table, a mana pearl, and 3 mana steel. So let me go ahead and order. I want 3 iron, 1 ender pearl, and 4 oakwood planks. Okay. And let's go ahead, get that. I tend to like the assembly halo a lot more anyways. There's not really a particular reason as to why I like it more. I just do. Whoops, I didn't mean to get mana diamonds. Oh, you know what? It's because I'm not putting an ingot. I always forget. There we go. And then I'm going to need 2 new diamonds since I turned mine into mana diamonds. Which is fine. We'll end up using those, but it was not on purpose. And we'll go ahead and get our assembly halo. There we go. And of course this you can actually save recipes and stuff. So for example, if I go in the crafting table and I was to craft up an enchantment table, we come over here and we right click. Now we can auto craft enchantment tables without having to lay them out. Which in this case it's not really something that we would use, you know, enchantment tables. But like for next episode when we're doing rails and things like that, I would like to have them auto put into this. And then we can kind of change it depending on whatever we're working on at the time. Which is, of course, very, very handy. Now, there's also, by the way, there's this manufactory halo that you can craft with just a mana diamond. I'm not going to do that, but what it does is anytime that, you know, you set recipes into it, and basically that one's good for, like, mining and stuff if you want to auto-compress redstone, you know, if you don't have the mining bags and stuff like that, you can have it auto-craft things as it gets stuff into its inventory to craft it. Or in your inventory. So, but we might end up using that at some point, but the backpacks are a little bit better. And then I'm going to want 2 crafting altars. There we go. And I believe that's everything that we need. So let's go ahead and get our armor and Beaman Table. And this thing is actually, combined with everything else that we're doing for armor, it's going to be extremely, extremely powerful. So we'll just put this down right here. Now what's weird, oh, there we go. In my test world, it wouldn't load its graphic, but basically what we can do is we can put armor into this. So if we put in, say, our Terra Steel, you can see that there's a couple things that pop up here. Now this one, I don't know. Infused experience, armor XP level 17. Okay, this one actually doesn't have enough XP at the moment. Neither does this one. I think this first one is like 33 levels, right? Let me see. Like, for example, the legs, you can put mana regen bonus, burnout reduction bonus, soulbound, or step assist. And I'm probably going to take burnout reduction, but we're going to have to get some levels on this. And I wonder if we were to, let me pop up here. If we were to take, like, say, our bottles of enchanting, these should supply XP to the armor. So if we take a look now, no, it doesn't really seem to be. No, that is actually not giving XP to this. And it seems like it's taking forever to get that infused XP on this stuff. Oh, but the chest piece has a bunch. Has 65 levels. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's pop over here. And we'll put in our chest piece then. Okay, so our chest piece has 65 infused levels into it, and what we can do is we can add a bonus to this. Now these will eventually get there. It's like a percentage of the XP that you get it takes to put onto the armor. So it can take a little while to get a lot of infused levels on there, but I think in this case, Flicker Lure I'm not too worried about because we can already lure flickers. Soulbound I'm not too worried about since Botania has that Resolute Ivy. This stuff right here, vines, pixie dust, ender bottles, and you can apply this to pretty much anything and give yourself soulbound. Now it's one-time use only, but I mean, we're nearly to the point where, I mean, we're not really dying, you know, a whole lot, so that's not really a concern. But burnout reduction and mana regeneration, I would like to take one of these, and I'm thinking I want maybe a burnout reduction bonus. Okay, now this chest piece, of course, is just a temporary thing, but that's okay. And you can see down there, burnout reduction bonus at the bottom. So now, eventually, these get stronger as you go up the tiers, but like this first one, if I recall, it's like 33 levels, and I think the tier 2 is actually 66 levels or something like that. I can't remember, but drown damage, resistance, physical damage, fall damage, explosion damage. Then you get into Tier 3, which is fire, frost, magic, and lightning resistance. And then Tier 4, bonus magic, XP, healing, life-saving, and recoil. So we'll get into those a little bit later. I was hoping that we had more. I should have checked that, but that's okay. I mean, we've got a little bit of a burnout reduction, and so now if I was to go and I was to cast, say this, you'll notice that our burnout's going down a bit quicker. So it's actually a decent amount quicker. So very, very nice. And then, of course, we can get mana boosts and stuff like that, or mana regen boosts and whatnot through that as well. Alright, now next up I'd like to spend just a little bit of time over here in this section because I would like to really kind of simplify the Gaia Guardian. And doing so, we're going to need just a few flowers, and we're also going to need some spreaders. And I'm thinking, honestly, that we could probably get by with just like one spreader. I mean, that's a long distance, but if it's Gaia spreader, maybe so. I tell you what, before we do that though, let me get like 3 ender pearls, 1 diamond, and 3 iron ingots. And I'm going to go ahead and make just a couple more pieces of Terra Steel before we start moving this mana out, because I don't want it to drain out all the mana or anything. I don't think it'll drain all of it, but I think it'll drain a chunk of it. So I'd like to go ahead and have some Terra Steel for Gaia Guardian stuff first. It's actually kind of nice though, because like Terra Steel has reached the point where it's really not a concern for us. And I'll tell you what, where's our mana pools at? I was thinking about getting the Terra Shatterer today, but I think I'm going to wait until we have all of our Terra armor before I move into the Terra Shatterer, because I'm going to want to do some infusion and stuff with that. Okay, so we've got our Terra Steel, and then what I want to do is I want to get some spreaders, and we'll go ahead and start with 1 for right now, and we'll see where that gets us, because it actually might be far enough. I don't know. Let me get some mana steel, and then I'm going to want some elementium. There we go. Elven mana spreader, and then the... I think it's Dreamstone, right? Or, I mean, Dragonstone. Yeah, Dragonstone and Gaia Spirit. So we'll get our last Gaia Spirit, and then I'm going to want 1 diamond. And by the way, I'm about to actually set up a new... like a new building over in the desert that has a vendor that sells like the chunk loaders and maybe a couple other things. I don't know what all I want to implement into his store, but maybe he sells them and we can start buying them from him for like a certain price. I haven't decided what price, but we'll do a reasonable balanced price for it. And then I'm also going to want some mana lenses. Let me here we go. And I'm going to want distance-based mana lenses. I'm not too worried about the speed because it's going to be moving mana fast enough. Well, let's actually set this up and see kind of where we would be at if we did this, because we may not even need the resistance lens. I don't know. And it may not actually make a difference if we had the resistance lens as to whether or not it would travel the full distance. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to set our mana spreader up like right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just clean out a bit of this dirt. I mean, I could use a phantom lens right here, but, I mean, this place you're not going to be able to see it. And I would rather just have this stuff out of the way, honestly. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to have the mana kind of build up right underneath this Gaia pylon that's over here. Basically right in this section, and I think, if we removed enough stuff, I think that we could get the mana here without the need for a phantom lens, honestly. Because it's pretty much a straight shot over. I just don't know about the distance. I don't know if it's going to be able to reach that. But let's go ahead and figure out where we're going to have the mana pool. And I think we're going to have the mana pool just setting right here. Okay. So I'm going to put a block right there so that we can aim the mana pulses at it. So we'll grab our spreader. And let me actually light this up. I don't want any mobs spawning down here. So and we're going to send it all the way over to here. Now it looks like it's actually dissipating somewhere along the way. Aha, it's hitting dirt right here for starters. Actually, it doesn't look like it's dissipating. It looks like it's actually making the entire trip over here in a single burst. Huh. That is awesome. Yeah, see, right here would be the dissipation point. That is crazy. I honestly forgot that Gaia spreaders can even move that far. That's insane. Okay, so I don't think I have any mana pools on me right now. I do not. Let me dump some of these items out, and then let's go ahead and get ourselves a mana pool, just to set up down there so we can collect a little bit of mana. And one is really all that we need. There we go. And we'll just put this down. And the mana pool should get filled up pretty quickly, honestly. So we'll put that right there. And we should start seeing some mana bursts. Actually, I probably want to bind it first, but... Alright, let's grab that. And we'll just bind it. And there we go. Here comes our first mana burst. And there we go. It's starting to build up with mana. Now, next up, we're going to need a few flowers from Botania, because we're gonna make this Gaia Guardian super simple using pretty much just Botania, honestly. So what we're going to need is we're going to need functional flora, and we are going to want... I got to figure out which all ones I want. I know the Falling Canard is one of them. This flower will give you regen 2. Whenever it's down. And of course we could also use this for blood magic. It is a very powerful flower. For that, mainly, we're just going to need a Rune of Spring is the main thing. And then next up, this Hasai Dream. Basically, it causes mobs that are nearby to start killing each other. This requires pixie dust and a Rune of Wrath, also not all that expensive. And then we're also going to want the Giulia. And basically what it does is it keeps mobs from, like, outside of an area. And that's just Rune of Air and Rune of Water for that one. I think that's really all that I want, is those 3 flowers. And then we could always do some Hopper Hawks for just automatic item collection so we could all get built up. Not necessarily pumped into the system, because I kind of want to see what all comes from, you know, the Gaia Guardian fights and stuff like that. But I wouldn't mind it maybe going into, like, diamond chests. So I wouldn't mind, like, maybe some Hopper Hawks underneath the floor, and then, I don't know, but that's something I can implement a little bit later. But first up, we're going to start with those 3 flowers. And we're going to go ahead and make them. Now, we're not going to set them up right this second, and that's because I would like to include some redstone controls, because I don't want them draining mana constantly. I want them kind of just hanging out until we actually need them, and then they can drain mana. What was that one? The Giulia? So this one requires Rune of Water. That's the one I was looking for. And one thing I'd like to do real quick is we never set up the runic altar a couple episodes back after we tore it up. So, like in a permanent spot, and I would like to set that up. And so kind of what I'm thinking is, what if we put it... And I'll tell you what, for right now, we're going to set up the runic altar. This is just a temporary spot for right now. I haven't actually decided where I want to put this thing permanently. So, but for right now, we're going to set it just right here. And we'll just set up a couple mana spreaders, connect those in, there we go. And then I'm just going to need just a little bit of living rock. Alright, so there's our runes of water, and then we can get our Giulia. And I'm not too worried about it being floating, because we can just set it there on the ground, it's not a problem. So Rune of Air, Rune of Water, 2 pink, purple, and light gray. So water, air, pink, light gray, purple, and there's our Giulia. Giulia. Okay, so next up we are going to want the Hasai Dream. This flower right here. Pixie dust, Rune of Wrath, pink, and lots of purple and magenta. Okay, so Rune of Wrath, that is earth and winter. And winter is earth and water. Okay. And of course I don't have earth right now. Okay, I think I've got the runes that we need. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to make the Fallen Canard first, I think. Just so I can get rid of some of these petals. It is Rune of Spring, 2 white, an orange, and 2 yellow. And there we go. There's that one. And then, there's my bucket. Let me just fill this back up with water. Now we're also going to need 1 pixie dust. So let me get this. And we'll get our 1 ender pearl and our pixie dust. There we go. And then we'll get our flower. So it is, let's see, it's 1 pink, 1 purple, 2 magenta, Rune of Wrath, and that's it. Okay, I already threw the pixie dust in there. And there is our Hasai Dream. Okay. And before we set this up, let me dump off these petals and some of the stuff that we don't need anymore. And I'm going to get 20 redstone, just so that we've got it. And I want to set up something for basically redstone control with this. Because, like I said, I don't want this running all the time. I only want it running when we're fighting a Gaia Guardian. So we're just going to do like a lever setup. So if I want to fight the Gaia Guardian, toggle it on, and then we can fight the Gaia. Okay? So what we're going to do, let's get like 10 dirt. And we'll just set some dirt up around like that. And then like right here, break this off for just a minute. And we're going to set up our 3 flowers around this, but I want to set up the redstone first. So we'll do redstone like right there. Right there. Kind of bring it around like this. And let me get like a stack of dirt actually for running this over. I think our lever, let me see. Let me figure out where we're going to put the lever at. I think we'll have it setting just right over here. Like right here would be good. So I'm going to get 1 stick and 1 cobblestone. And I'm going to go ahead and do this with living rock brick. I'm going to eventually change all this over to living rock. But for right now, 1 piece right there. We're going to go ahead and activate it as well. Alright. And then what we'll do is we'll just run the redstone out to like right here. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring it over with dirt. And I will have to make a repeater. So I'll do that in just a moment. But alright, so the redstone will come out of here. It's going to go down, around. And let's see, right now it's at 2. 1. And then our repeater. And then we'll just bring this out and over like that. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to kind of build this out just a little bit so we can kind of move around. It'll make it a little bit easier for us. And then what we'll do is we're going to set up our flowers. First up, we'll put down our Julia right here. And so if this has redstone, it should disable the flower. And keep in mind that the Julia, this is the one that causes creatures to not be able to enter a certain range. So if we're standing on this pylon or near this pylon, the creatures aren't going to be able to get near us. The Enderman, not the Enderman, the zombies, the skeletons, even the bats that the Gaia Guardian spawns won't be able to get near us. Okay, we'll be pretty much in like a little safe spot. And then I also want to set up the Fallen Canard. We'll just put that one right there. That's the one that gives us regen. And then we're going to set the Hasai Dream down right here. And this is the one that causes mobs to attack each other. So now, this shouldn't be draining, it shouldn't be working. And so if we come out here and we stand right here, well, it is working though. We have regen 3. Why is that? Oh, okay, it's, my bad. It's only the ones that use a redstone root can be affected by redstone. Okay. That's really just like the Jaded Amaranthus, the Bellathorn. Like, none of the ones that we're actually using are affected. Alright. Well, that's okay. I mean, it should only drain when we're in the area of effect or when mobs are in the area of effect. It shouldn't be, like, constant when it's just sitting here, I don't think. So, alright. Well, we'll have that set up, and if worse comes to worse, then, like, if it causes too much mana drain, it should be okay. But if it does cause too much mana drain, then we'll do something else. We may just have to break it, whenever we're not using it. I don't know. But anyways, let's go ahead, now that we've got the arena set up. So the redstone actually isn't even needed at all. So I'm going to go ahead and just break this off, because we don't actually need that. I forgot that only the ones that use redstone root were affected. For some reason I was thinking that all of them would be affected, but that's okay. Well, anyways, now we have an arena set up to face the Gaia Guardian. But before we face the Gaia Guardian, there's something else I want to do, and that is get some method of dealing with all the mobs. Because if you recall, last time we fought the Gaia Guardian, there was so many mobs, like it was insanity, right? And, you know, even though the mobs won't be able to get to us, and technically, I mean, I guess they'll be killing each other, so there's that. But I would like to have some way of maybe clearing them out just to kind of empty out the arena a bit and whatnot. So I'm thinking about making a spell. Well, I tell you what. Instead of making a spell necessarily, I want to try a sword in particular, because it might actually be enough damage that we won't even need the spell. I would like to see how it goes over, at least for the Gaia Guardian Mark 1, because we're going to have to face the Mark 1 before we can face the Mark 2. Okay? So what we're going to do is let's get ourselves just a couple pieces of living wood. And then I want to get just a living wood twig and get ourselves a Terra blade. Woot, remote paranoia. And then I want to upgrade this. I want to upgrade this to the Thunder Caller. This requires a piece of Elementium, a mana diamond, and then 2 Ender Air bottles. And then we just need 1 diamond and 2 iron ingots. Okay. It's so nice having our corporeal system like actually usable now, because it just makes things so much smoother to do. So, and this sword's actually really, really powerful. Like, you know, the Terra Blade, by default, if you take it and you attack, it shoots out like a little ranged attack sometimes. It's about 25% of the time or something like that. But there's 2 different upgrades. There's the Star Caller and the Thunder Caller. And the Star Caller, what that one does is it can cause stars to come down from the sky and hit the mobs, which is kind of nice. But the Thunder Caller, what it does is it does like an AoE chain lightning effect, which is great, especially for dealing with like the Gaia Guardian fight. It's very, very handy to have. So there we go, and it actually has a higher attack damage than the other ones. The other 2 are 11.2, whereas this one is a 17.5. So we'll go ahead and get that. And there we go. Put that into there. And then there's one other thing that I'm going to want, and that is chakrams. These right here. Thorn chakrams / flare chakrams. This is just Terra Steel and vines. Get you 2 of them. So I'm going to get just a couple pieces of Terra Steel. I'm going to go for 4 of them. So we'll go with 4 diamonds. I love just being able to make like mass quantities of Terra Steel. Like it's no biggie anymore. And we're getting this to actually kill the Gaia Guardian with it. And then if we find that we need a spell for the Mark II, then we'll upgrade and or we'll make a spell for that. Alright, so then we just need a bunch of vines. So 24 vines. And then just wrap these up like that. There's our thorn chakrams. And I think I want to go ahead and go for flare chakrams, because that's mainly just pixie dust and then a bit of blaze, which we have tons of. So we'll get 3 more ender pearls. Alright, so pixie dust, chakrams, and basically what this does is it kind of buffs up the chakrams and allows them to burn mobs as well. So, and 6 is the limit that you can have in your inventory at once. So just a heads up on that. Okay, and I believe we're all set now. I would like to maybe enchant this sword specifically. So let's pop up there real quick and throw an enchantment on it. So we'll go Spellbinding Cloth, that. For some reason it says I have no levels, which is a lie, but anytime you go to the end, for some reason using the journal updates it. So, I don't know, I'm not even too worried about this thing. It takes so long to, like, move XP with this thing. Like, I hate it. I hate it so much. We'll get a better method of that very, very soon, but... Okay, so Ice Aspect 2, XP Boost, Smite 4, and Health Draining 2. That's not what I want. Well, actually, you know what? The main enemies that we're going to be killing are, like, witches, skeleton zombies, wither skeletons. So Smite might be better, in fact. Ice Aspect 2, XP Boost 3, and Health Draining 2. That's actually not bad. I think that's what we're going to go with. Because the XP Boost will help me get more XP for my armor, right? So yeah, that's what we're going to go with, in fact. We will stick with that. I'm happy with it. Alright. I'm not for sure, though, like, if the... like the Smite, the Ice Aspect, and the XP Boost, and the Health Draining, if all that's going to take effect on the mobs that are hit by the Chain Lightning or not. I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure how that will work out, but anyways, we'll go ahead and use it. And then what I want to do is I want to get my tectonic girdle. And we'll go ahead and throw that on. Go, and I think that's the main thing. And that, of course, is so that we can pretty much just stand here on top of this pylon and not ever move. Or stay near the pylon anyways. And then I'm also going to want one piece of dirt, just so I can clean up the area underneath this pylon. And there we go. And so anytime we're in this area, mobs can't get to us. They start attacking each other when they get near us, and we get regen 3. So, whoop. And, yeah, we'll hit the Gaia Guardian with the Flare Chakrams. We might hit him with, like, our sword if he gets close. But the Flare Chakrams are a ranged weapon that you can actually use on the Gaia. And, let's see, as far as spells go, I think I'm just going to stick with our healing spell so that we've got it up all the time. So there we go. We'll go ahead and set that on. And here we go. I feel like... Whoa. Cool. For whatever reason, like, I jumped up here or whatever, and then it started, like, pulling me away. I don't know what that was about. Well, we'll have to make another piece of Terra Steel, but that's not really a issue. So for this first phase, when he gets close, because we've got a lot more time with the first phase... Oh wait, where's my witherless rose? I need that. And those chakrams, of course, they come back to us after being thrown. So, and they actually do a lot of damage. That's so much easier. Because we can just kind of stay near this crystal and nothing can get to us. Like his bats and stuff that actually do a lot of damage. And we always have regen 3 up all the time while we're here. So, a little bit OP. But Botania, of course, with the Gaia Guardian, he's a somewhat challenging boss fight. But as long as you set up like a good arena for him, like he's actually super easy. Alright, here comes his ads. And this is when we actually get to use our Thunder Caller, which is going to be fun. And you can see it's shocking all the mobs. It's still not enough damage. Like, that's the only thing that I hate about these health boost mods. Like, the difficulty thing mainly affects health. You know, so you end up with these mobs with just astronomical amounts of health. Which is all cool and everything. However, you end up turning a lot of your weapons into useless just junk, and you have to go with like the most OP stuff that you can get. So we'll probably end up having to do Ars Magica, honestly. That's like the Mana Blaster. I was wanting to make a good Mana Blaster that we could use as a ranged weapon in this series. But it's just, it doesn't do enough damage when you have max difficulty mobs. Let me actually turn this music and sounds. And I mean, I guess really, technically, I could just focus on the boss. And once they get close enough, they should start killing each other. Like that. There we go. And then I guess I could get in here and finish them off. Yeah, that Thunder Caller, it's a nice weapon. It's just so much, there's so much in this pack. That's one thing that kind of irritates me, is so much of this stuff is just useless due to this just buffed up health. Because the mobs really aren't any harder, they just have a lot more hit points, and I don't really see that as difficulty. But anyways, I don't think we've got enough in here just yet. Yeah, see, it's got to be like 33 levels. Right now it's up at 24. These things take a lot of time to build up XP. Because during that fight, we actually killed a couple mobs. We gained like quite a few levels at a high level. But the armor only got like a couple levels. It takes a really long time to get those built up. Now I will say that the boots, they jumped up to level 13, but it quickly starts slowing down a lot. Because we got a lot of kills with XP boost 3 on. But anyways, we got 6 Gaia spirits. So that's awesome. Now I guess I'm going to make an AoE spell. I do believe. Because I really don't think there's any way around it at this point. That's pretty much it. So let's get, and there's our book and quill, And let's go ahead and just set up a quick spell here. And I think, how many points do I have? Not much. Alright, so let's make ourselves an AoE, I think. There's also zone, which is pretty good, but... Okay, tell you what, I think we're going to do like a zone spell. So we can cast it on an area and it'll just keep damaging the mobs for a little bit. Okay, I tell you what, we're not really going to be able to make a really good spell right now because we're waiting on red orbs. We're waiting on red points. Because I need, like, radius and stuff like that before I can really make good AoE spells. So right now, I mean, we could make, like, a good single target spell, but that's not really what we're after. I mean, I think our single target damage is better at the moment than any spell that we're going to be able to make. I'm just going to have to wait until I get some more red spells, I believe. Before we can really get into that a whole lot. So, anyways, but I tell you what we are going to do, one thing that I need to do, is let's take our Hasai Dream, the one that makes mobs kill each other, and let's actually move it over. I'll tell you what, we're going to put it like right, grab this, we're going to put it like right down here. It should still be able to reach the mana pool. It is. And that way it's, I think... it wasn't really working in the last fight, and that's mainly because we're standing here. The mobs can't get past, like, this point. And so they weren't in range of the Hasai Dream, but now they should be more in range. It's more centered for the battlefield. So honestly, having the mobs kill each other, I think is going to make a huge difference for us. So anyways, let's go ahead and let me get one more piece of Terra Steel. So, I had a really cool idea in mind, but the thing about Ars Magica is it takes so much build-up. Because I would like to start getting into some of the silver skills and stuff as well. Very, very soon, but there's a few things that we need before we can get stuff like Firestorm and whatnot. Oh, wow. We have effectively drained out like pretty much all the mana in that. Good. This has been a very expensive episode, though, in all fairness. Alright, so let's get ourselves our Gaia Spirit Ingot, and let's give this a shot. I mean, regardless, even if the mobs are alive, they're not really causing a whole lot of issue. So, it's not that big of a deal, I guess, but we will want to get rid of them at some point. But once we have the stuff, I promise we'll make some really, like, OP spells. Alright, now this, of course, the Tier 2 Gaia Guardian casts those, like, little magic blasts all the time. So that is something to be aware of. And he's going to be a little bit harder to leave this area just due to the amount of bats that he summons. As you can tell, they're flying all around here. Oops. Now, one thing I wouldn't mind doing maybe is getting a new Chaos Diamond. Perhaps. Really? My Terra Steel boots just now hit level 2? I cannot find you, sir. There you are. But luckily, I mean, we can just kind of hang out here next to the flowers with our chakram and just do work. Tell you what, though, I am going to make sure that this spell is up. Aha! Okay, now we're moving into the next phase. It's kind of funny because the mobs are going to be inside the... Yeah, they get pushed out. I have to say that because they're kind of inside of our area of effect here. Yeah, and see, now they're all killing each other. So really, I mean, I can just kind of hang out back here. I'll just light them on fire just for fun, kind of a thing. And use this. Haha! This really is like a crazy easy fight, though. Like, even with all the mobs. Because our flowers will keep them at bay. No problem. And, like, look at all the lightning effects just going around. Okay, he should be taking to the field again. So we'll kind of keep an eye out for him. He does teleport a lot faster during this phase, but that's fine. I mean, Regen 3 is so OP, like, as far as life regen goes. Plus, if anything happens, we have our contingency spell, so we'll just kind of turtle up here. And there we go, he's dead. And I guess we can just kind of leave them here to hang out. They're not really causing us any issue. Now, one thing that I could do, which is actually probably the best AoE in the game for at least a very long time, is we could begin producing holy hand grenades. They're not all that expensive. You know, we've done glowing water before, gold nuggets, catalyzing glands, and then TNT. These things actually do a massive amount of damage, and it doesn't destroy blocks or harm the person that threw it, and whatnot. So, and of course that's Monty Python. But alright, let's go ahead and pop open our Dice of Fate. And which one did we get? The critical hits apply a strong weakness effect. Honestly, I was waiting for... Let me take a look at the wheels. I was waiting for the one with life drain. There's the strong weakness, damage increase with lower HP, heal for a portion of damage dealt. That's the one I was planning on putting on our helmet. But thing is, I really don't feel like HP is an issue. You know, with everything that we have at our... Because all of our spells and stuff, we have a ton of stuff that lets us kind of turtle up, get a lot of defense, heal up, stay at full health, that kind of stuff. But, I don't know. Strong slowness, pierce through armor. That one's actually really, really good. And apply a wither effect. That one would also be pretty effective. I mean, the pierce through armor is great, but the issue with this pack is just massive amounts of HP. It's not so much armor. I mean, occasionally you'll see a mob with armor, but for the most part, it's just a lot of HP. So I may go with the... Maybe not the weakness, but maybe instead go with, like, the wither effect or something. But anyways, let's open up our Dice of Fate, and we got the Angel of Death, Eye of the Flugel. Aha. Let's take a look here. Can't remember all the ins and outs of this. Unlike the fabricated Flugel Tiara, the Eye of the Flugel contains primordial Flugel magic. Magic strong enough, in fact, to harness the Flugel's ability to recall themselves to a place they've visited. Shift right-clicking with this eye somewhere will bind it to that position. After that, holding right-click for a while will recall the user back to the aforementioned location. Teleportation ability not only costs mana, but cannot be executed across 2 different dimensions, sadly enough. Aside from that, simply being in possession of an Eye of the Flugel allows a wearer of the Flugel Tiara to fly past the normal limits at a higher cost, of course. Okay. So there we go. We've got Eye of the Flugel. And I guess we'll just hold on to it for the flight purposes. I can't remember exactly what that even does for the Flugel Tiara, but I think after... Isn't it whenever these little things down here wear off? Like, you can still fly, but it costs more mana, I believe. I believe that's what it is. So, I'll probably hold on to it. And then the Wheel of RM. And then we got... did we get Gaia? Yeah, we got Gaia Spirits. 12 of those. Okay. And we got enough stuff for Terra Steel. I don't have enough mana for Terra Steel, though, at the moment. So, for right now, I'm just going to put that stuff away. Now, in addition, I would like to start maybe the Ars Magica bosses. I know that some of those drop orbs, which would be nice to get a hold of. So I think that's what we'll do, is we'll go ahead and start up some of those. I mean, the Gaia Guardian, even with the mobs added, eventually I'll make an AoE spell that can clear those out. It's just that there's certain things that I need that I don't have at the moment. But the bosses can actually drop... I think the first few bosses only drop like blue orbs, which are kind of like eh. But green and red I could definitely use. Okay? So I would like to start maybe working towards some of those. And the first one that you generally do is the Water Guardian. We need to create a redstone inlay circle in any biome that's predominantly water, which is like rivers, oceans, that kind of thing. And then while it's raining, throw a boat and a bucket of water into the circle as homage to the many ships lost at sea. Alright, so the inlay circle, we're going to have to get ourselves some redstone inlay. That is just Ventium and redstone. So we'll get 16 redstone. And we'll go ahead and get that made. There we go. And then what was it? A boat and a bucket of water, right? So 5 oak wood. Oops, not oak wood, oak planks, but whatever. We'll go ahead and get ourselves a boat. For right now, I'm just going to pick up our Terra Bozu, so that maybe it'll rain a little bit more often. It's still probably going to take a little while waiting on this. Sadly, that's one thing. Oh, you know what I could do, though? Let's see. I don't think we can do the blood... Can I do the blood magic ritual thing? Isn't it the imperfect ritual stone? Tier 1 obsidian stone. Yeah, let's go ahead and get some essence built up in our blood orb, because we are going to need that. So I'll just throw it into there, and then... Oh yeah, I'm going to need my knife as well. Whoops. And let's see, the imperfect ritual stone, that takes 4 obsidian, and then the rest is just stone, so... Okay. Let me pop over here, and let's get 4 stone. Is this building up? There might actually be enough in it already. Pull that out. Let's get our imperfect ritual stone. There we go. And if I was to set this down... Oh, my soul became too weak. It did summon the thunderstorm. I didn't have enough life essence in there, though. Whoops. Uh-oh, I think I might have crashed. Alright, so I'm back. That was my fault. I should have made... I was thinking about making a thing. Yeah, see, it's slowly draining right now. It's not very fast. I was thinking about making a division sigil, but I was like, well, whatever. You know, that was my fault. That was just because I was being... Because I have to get into the alchemy array and all of that, and I was like, well, maybe I can just do this real quick with blood magic, but that's alright. Lost a little bit of XP, but I'm not really that concerned about it. Alright, so over here, ocean is perfect for this. So let's just drop down our angel block. There we go. And we'll go ahead and set this up. There we go, that's good enough. Our redstone inlay. This guy's probably going to be pretty easy with the armor that we're rocking and our contingency heal spell and stuff like that. I think it'll be pretty simple. And then we'll just drop in... Oh, there we go. We'll just drop in our bucket and our boat. And there we go. Uh-oh. He has become 3. Alright. And he will actually sink you, but the nice thing is with flight, it doesn't really work. So I'm going to push him towards the shore. I should have spawned him a little bit closer to the shore, honestly, but that's okay. I mean, you can see he's doing a bit of damage, but it's not nearly enough to really affect us. Get back over there. And if you want to make this a whole lot easier, you can make a lightning spell and use that, but I don't know. Once we get to some of the harder bosses, I will say, like, the nether one and stuff like that, some of those actually get to be pretty tough. But this water guardian's not too bad. He's just kind of like, get in there and just spam him at this point. He does take a little bit more strategy if it's early in, like actually building out a platform and stuff like that, but for some of the bosses that we're going to fight more than once, but this boss I really don't foresee us fighting more than once. Because it's like blue affinity orbs, I don't need those. I really, really don't. I mean, technically you can get water essence from him, but at the same time, the essences are all craftable, so I'm not really in it for the essences. I'm more in it for the affinity orbs. Some of the armor's good from these guys, like the earth armor and stuff, but the thing is, Terra Steel gives any of it pretty much a run for its money. I like the Terra Steel. I don't know, I'm preferable. I'm, I guess, biased towards the botania stuff. I really like it, but alright. You die. I mean, I guess technically these chakrams would probably work on him too. Oh, actually the chakrams aren't really doing anything to him, but anyways, he's dead, so. You can see we got 2 water essence, and there we go, blue infinity orb. I'm just going to go ahead and pop that. There's not really any use for these. No, there's no way to upgrade them or anything, so. There we go. And he does have like a special drop, which he did not drop for us. But if I recall, the one that he drops, let me see, it's the, is it the water orbs? I think, yeah, it's the water orbs. You're not pushed by flowing liquids, and you have infinite breath while underwater. We have an ability for infinite breath, flowing water. It's one of those things, like, I don't see myself using the water orbs at all. Like, truth be told, I don't foresee it. Let me check and see if my banker's still here. They seem to be fine now that I spawned them in. Like, they don't seem to be despawning, at least as of yet. Yeah, so... which, that is awesome. I'm hoping that they'll actually stay for good and not have any issues with them. And one thing to note is that the Infinity Orbs, technically, from what I recall, they can come from dungeons. However, I don't think I've ever seen one come from a dungeon in this pack. Like, ever. I don't know. I'll have to check and see if they're disabled, or if I just haven't been lucky, which is very possible as well. So, because usually that's kind of where I end up finding a lot of my red orbs. But I also thought that after a certain point, you just got red orbs. But it seems I've been getting like I'll go through blue orbs. I'll get a bunch of blue orbs, and then I'll start getting green orbs. Then I'll get red orbs for a while, and then it feels like I go back to blue orbs for a little while, and then back to green and stuff. So it's taking a really long time to get orbs built up in this pack, like points. I mean, we've ran through a lot of red points, granted, but it takes a lot of red ones to get much. So I don't know. And I'll just put the Terra Bozu back, but look how sad he looks when it rains. Like, he's like, oh, I don't like this. But anyways, I think with that, I mean, I know it's about wrapping up point. Next episode, we will be working on Railcraft. Okay? I mean, the nice thing is now we have all the Gaia spirits we need. I can start really upgrading all of our mana spreaders to just Gaia spreaders. Set that up everywhere, and, you know, it moves mana a lot faster, a lot farther. So we can kind of get rid of all the other spreaders. Because now Gaia spirits are super easy to obtain. I mean, it's honestly a joke just to sit down there and throw chakrams. And I can start maybe getting a wheel that we want. Like, I don't want the wheel really that we got, like the weakness effect. But I wouldn't mind some of those other ones. Because honestly, I'd rather have a wheel that does some kind of damage. Because defensively we're good. It's just offensively there's only so many options for like offense. There's nothing really to counteract the high HP count, so unless you just go with, I will say that those holy hand grenades are probably like 2-shot mobs, so mass producing those wouldn't be a bad idea. So we might look into that, because that may eventually just be our only like AOE weapon. It's just those. But I think the Ars Magica, some of those top tier spells would be pretty good as well. But we need like radius and duration, ignition, so we can unlock Firestorm, and like ideally we need some of those things to really kind of push Ars Magica up. So we have to get more orbs. We have to get a bunch more orbs. I don't know if the orbs are just super uncommon to come across, but I don't think we've found an infinity orb this entire playthrough. So if I recall correctly, those are just tied to like dungeon loot, and I just don't know if they're still included, if the dungeon loot's been changed within this pack at all, and maybe it doesn't flag it as dungeon loot anymore. I don't know, because I mean, I haven't found any orbs, but that's just been my experience so far. But yeah, anyways, next episode will be Railcraft at long last. I should have all that. I can't say for sure that the entire subway tunnel will be done and decorated and all that stuff, but at least it'll be ran enough that we can start putting in the tracks and everything. So we're going to get into high-speed tracks. We're going to get into mounting and dismounting tracks, like all kinds of stuff. So we have a nice little subway. I was actually originally debating on a couple different ways, because you know, there's a very common like vanilla design where you kind of have like a subway station where it's got like trains moving in both directions and they're constantly going, and so you get in the like the train car, and it takes you to the next destination, then you can get off or stay on, that kind of thing. And I know that's a very common design. I was actually originally debating about that, but I think that works better for like a server type situation or something where you have a lot of different stops. With ours, I mean, I'm thinking there'll probably be like maybe 5 stops or something like that, but not enough to necessitate that full subway system. And in addition, sometimes you have to wait with those, and with us going through it, I'd rather it be like whenever we need it, hit a button and summon our car for us. So instead what we're going to do is we're actually going to, like whenever you go down the subway, you can select, you go to your destination platform basically, and then it travels from point A to point B like that. Now if we have some like sub destinations, like for example, if this subway line basically runs up through here, If I decide, like, maybe I want something over here, we can do that. So you can actually set, like, I want to go over here instead of here, that kind of thing. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, as of right now, the way I'm going to set it up is, like, you go down in the subway and you can say, go to the platform that goes to the desert town, or go to the platform that maybe goes over here, or go to the platform that goes off over here, and so on, and have them linked together like that. And then have it auto dismount and then send the carts back for us and everything. It's kind of how I'm thinking for this series, how I want it to be done. So, but anyways, we'll get into that next episode. Fun stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button, and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay up to date with when new videos come out. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I hope to see you guys next time, and until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys next time.